So Pastor Tyler last weekend, I think, said, "Hey, Michael, would you be willing to talk about what you're thankful for in church?" Then I realized last weekend, oh yeah, he's not going to be here. So he just, then I realized, okay, there's supposed to be 4 people talking about what they're thankful for. And my initial thought was, all right, but I don't want it to be the same thing everyone always says because, everyone's thankful for family and all the different things around Thanksgiving. But you never know what's going to happen when you get up here. So I do have things to say today. My name is Michael or Mike. I first came to this church 40 years ago. We moved to Tracy in 1978. So, yes, 40 years ago I was in here. I don't have a lot of early memories of kindergarten, which was over in the pastor's office. My first real memories here, I think, were from primary. But my memories, my Thanksgiving, what I'm thankful for is going to come from the past, where we're at now, and where we're going. So, from the past, 40 years we've been a part of this church. And if you look around, there are people, many, who were here when we got here in 1978. Of course, there's been people who've come and gone since then, but our family has been in Tracy for the last 40. And over that time, there has generally been an on in church probably 90% of the time, short of some vacations over time and things like that. So definitely this is home. Now, the reason I'm so thankful for this church is there's not a lot of churches, and you hear people say this all the time, but it's true about this church. There's not a lot of churches where you could walk in, your family become a part of, and you're having multiple other families that are still involved in the church 30 to 40 years later. Not just coming to church, but still heavily involved in what's happening here. Now, the reason this is my first thanks is because I went here growing up. But then I went to college in 1993, a long time ago. And essentially, for 16 years, I was not a part of this church. I was still going to church. I was living in different areas, but I wasn't coming here on a regular basis for 16 years. My dad would call me and talk to me about, hey, here's what happened for church. Hey, Pastor Whitcomb gave a great talk today, or whatever happened, or this group came, this musical group. So I was still involved with the church, but I wasn't an active member here because I didn't live here. And 16 years is a long time. Those of you who are in high school right now, think back to when you were 0. It was a long time ago. So over that time, even though I wasn't here, and there were times where I think my mom, I can't remember for sure, asked me if I wanted to change my membership because I was going to San Ramon for many years because I lived over there for 10 years. But I didn't. I never changed the membership, thank goodness. But I still felt like I was a part of the church. I didn't know every single one of you that had started coming during those years. But when I came back, I got used to seeing people again. And it's a blessing to be able to walk back in as a regular member after 16 years and become involved and, of course, become married and things like that. Other things happen. But that is the first thanks I have for a church that has been here, that will continue to be here, and continue to have families that stay involved over a great many years. Now, the second thanks is where we're at right now. And we've heard people talking about it, about the fires and all these things that have happened. Luckily for us, probably none of our homes have been lost in the last few weeks. But the thanks we need to give, and it's hard because we give thanks like, man, thank you for what we have. And we are very thankful for what we have. But it's hard because we think about the people who don't all of a sudden have what they had just 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And we can still feel sorrow. We, of course, can feel compassion and sadness for those people who have lost those things. But that more than anything should make us thankful for the things we have and still have. It's not that we take it for granted, because we don't always take it for granted. It's just, can you imagine if we all went home after church and our homes were gone? Not damaged slightly, just gone. Everything. If you went home and you had nothing, I got 2, 1, 2. Okay. If you went home and had nothing all of a sudden, think of what our minds would do. You know, we have plans like, okay, well, I'll go to my sisters, I'll go to my cousins, I'll go to my grandparents. Yeah, but what are you going to do forever? Because you don't have anything anymore. So my thanks for right now is I'm so thankful for the things that we have, and I want to be more thankful on an everyday basis for what we have, for what I have, for what our family has, because we're not guaranteed those things. And because not everybody has those things. And because things change like that. And your lives change like that. And my hope is that if that happened to our family or any of you out here, that we'd still be able to give thanks and we'd still be able to have a church or a church family to come to. So the second thanks is for what we have right now. Now, the third thanks, this is the first thing I thought of when Tyler asked me, is about where we're going. So, when I was growing up, my father, whose name was Stephen On, some of you who've been here for many years know him or know who he was. Those of you who haven't known him, he was a physician here in Tracy from 1978 till 2007. He passed away almost 11 years ago. So when I was growing up, my dad would say, and he said this multiple times to me and my brother Kevin growing up, he said, I can't wait for heaven because when we get there, you're going to get to meet your grandpa. And I can't wait till your grandpa can meet you guys. See, for my father, his dad passed away right before he turned 10 years old. Okay? So he never got to go through most of his life with his father. But the thing he looked forward to the most and the thing he wanted the most for us was to be able to meet him when we get to heaven. And as a child, it meant a lot to me, but it was okay because I didn't have grandpas. All right, I didn't have a lot of grandpas around, and I didn't have any grandpa on that side. But now as a parent, that means the most to me. Because just like my father couldn't wait for heaven because he wanted his grandpa to meet us and see us. Now I'm in that same boat. And I can't wait to get to heaven because for him to see these little ones means the world. Now, why am I thankful? I'm thankful because it's not hope. We all say we have this hope. You know the song, we have this hope. It's not hope. It's knowledge. Because I know it's going to happen. It's not, I hope it happens someday. I know it will happen someday. And that's why I am thankful. And I know there's others of you out there who have lost people in your lives, who may have never met other people that were related to you. So the point is this, you can all be thankful because that day is coming. And it's not I hope, it's we know. And you can be thankful to be part of a church and of a Seventh-day Adventist Christianity that knows this is not the end. There's other things on the other side. And all the people there will be able to see all of the people here who they may have been missing for years or they may have never met before. So on this Thanksgiving, I'm thankful for where we've been. I'm thankful for where we're at, and I'm thankful for where we're going. Thank you.
And just a few words of thankfulness that I would like to say. I'm not sure if any of you know who I am. I have a bunch of family in this church, which is wonderful. God has blessed us with my sisters and brother-in-laws and daughter and nieces and nephews, and it is a blessing to have. And Noah's up there. I just see him right now. Yes, and God has been really good to us all. I'd really like to tag on to what Michael was saying about family and all of that and about the past and the present. And so grateful that our parents had brought us God into our lives and the message of Jesus Christ, Seventh-day Adventist message, dear Lord. And grateful that they shared that with us and that we continue to carry it on, that we continue to come and worship here and to share the message with others. And there's so many wonderful people here in this church that have held us all together after our parents. We came here when our parents had passed away in 1998. And Michelle started school the Monday after my dad passed away, and my mother passed away a month before. So you guys held us all together and prayed with us continually and molded all of us into becoming better servants for the Lord. And I appreciate that so much, that you've carried us and allowed us to serve. The ministry that I share with Sue and feeding the community, with Vince, with Becky, with all the women and men that come and help us to serve, with my sister Bess and James and all of us who serve, Josephine and all. Again, that is home and that is family that you guys have given us, that God has given us. And I'm thankful for the struggle, because without the struggle, I wouldn't have stumbled upon all of you, all the strength that God has given us. And I'm thankful for that. And in thankfulness, it comes when we stop complaining about the troubles we have, and we offer thanks for all the troubles that we don't have. And there's so many, you know. My sister has struggled through her dialysis right now, and that was a hard hit on us all. But he has carried us through that and given us strength. And I thank him. And I thank all of you. And God has been good to us. And I wish upon all of you that you lean on him more, and that's what I do right now. It's been a definite year of leaning on him so heavily and asking for his strength to carry us through. And I just wish upon all of you gratefulness and thankfulness for his love upon us. So thank you very much.
Welcome to a Thanksgiving day at church. There's a lot of action happens on Thanksgiving and holidays. And Michael said he was saying 40 years. I'd say double that and add a little. And I've been here most Sabbaths since then. I really have been fortunate to meet up with people who are caring, loving, thankful people. That's I was raised in Alabama. And I'll just tell you a story. Michael mentioned the houses burning, and you've all heard in Chico and Paradise and the houses burning. I want you to think about a little house, about twice as big as a motorhome, has wood siding. You put the siding on 1x6, put it vertical. And then over the cracks, you put a 1x2, and that's the house that I was raised in. On March 1, 1941, I was sleeping in my bedroom in the house, had only 2 bedrooms, and I thought I heard the cat in the kitchen. You can put that out there. I want to show you the house. And I got up from the bedroom and I went out to the living room where we had wood stove. There was no electricity, telephone, and all that stuff. You didn't need that. My mom and dad were milking cows about from here to the school from the house. And that house right there, that was painted on a grape crate by a patient of mine probably 25, 30 years ago. And I walked out and the whole ceiling was burning. Just whew. I ran out the door and hollered, ran down towards the dairy. And I was been 7 years old. And my mom says they come running and it basically got nothing out of the house. So my house looked just like they do at Paradise. I've never forgot that. I probably won't ever forget that. And my folks, there's no such thing as insurance and that sort of thing. So now what do you do immediately? Well, you go about from here to the parking lot and you take all the chickens out of the chicken coop, roll new fresh tar paper on the ground, and you live there for a year. And actually don't remember missing anything. If I had no phone for a year now, I would miss it terribly. I'm making up for not using it. But I just can sort of sympathize with the folks who lost everything they got. Most of them probably will have some type of insurance. My mom and dad had a work ethic, a German work ethic, and I'd say they worked usually 10, 12 hours a day. You didn't need a clock. You got up before dark, and you went to bed after dark. And those days really taught me to love the Sabbath, because there's a lot of things I didn't have to do. We would milk the cows. You didn't have to clean the lot. You didn't have to do a lot of extra stuff. I would go I went barefooted mostly through the 9th grade. And I'd go in the summer, walk through the creek, lay down under the trees, watch the clouds go by, pine trees, and just the Sabbath soaked in good. It's still soaked in. Sabbath is something different. When I did dentistry 40 years, the Sabbath, patients would ask, they said, well, I work over the hill. Could you see me on Saturday? I said, no, I really don't make any appointments on Saturday. If you have a toothache or something, I'll see you. I saw, through 40 years, I don't know, maybe 40, 50 people on Saturday. If I treated you on Saturday, I didn't charge you. I said, it's my worship day. It's free. Don't make appointments, but just enjoy. My school, I went to high school, had 92 in my class. About 50 of them have now died. And I was, for the 50th anniversary, 50-year reunion, and the 55, I was the MC for the school, my class reunion. I had a good time doing that, and we ring a bell when somebody's not there, so the bells are getting many bells. I came to California. Came to California Dental School. I met up with the Glovers, folks you know, Dr. Glover and Mrs. Glover, and they were like-minded, work hard, work long, and give. That's what they did, and that sort of rubbed off on me. I met their daughter, Yvonne, which is back there, and about 61 years ago, I stood right there. It was a different carpet. And we got married in this church December 22, it'll be 61 years. Thank you, honey, for putting up with some redneck. This church has meant much to me through the school, with Pathfinder clubs, and the kids who've come back or gone to school here, and went with Pathfinders. We went over to Woodard Reservoir. I taught at least 30 kids to get up water skiing the first time. And when a kid gets in the water first time to attempt to ski, they paddle like they think they got to be out of the water head and shoulders. The only place you can do that is the Dead Sea. I did that in the Dead Sea. Floated arms up just from armpits. And I don't want to be a Dead Sea for energy. I don't want to be a Dead Sea for my health. I choose to wear out instead of rust out. I've had about 15 surgeries. Anybody here had more? Yeah, I win. I've had 3 back surgeries. When I stand a while, it gets tiresome, so I don't stand all the time. I've had the 5 hip surgeries. Had this one 3 times, this one twice. Had both knees. Had prostate a couple times. They've all been, no cancer has been involved anywhere, so I'm thankful for that. And got a couple of screws in my shoulder. But I like to say it takes a half a brain to live with all that stuff and get along. So anyway, I'm thankful. I've had a lot of surgery, but I came out of all of them. And I'm thankful for the doctors and stuff that have done that. I've, in my office, I talk about surrendered by good people. If you want to be thankful or have Thanksgiving, you got to be thankful. One thing that I chose to do, I had one girl that worked for me 13 years, one that worked 25 years, one that worked 33 years. Same girl, there's the 3 different ones. And what I chose to do, I never put their check in the mail or put their check in their cubby hole, whatever. My choice was to hand them the check and say thank you. And I think that meant a whole lot for those people who worked for me. It was like family. We had a lot of potlucks at the office and that type of thing. So I've been lucky to be surrounded by a lot of people. And there's a text here: be careful for nothing, but in everything be by prayer and supplication and thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And then finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue in these, any praise in them, think on these things. Whatever you're thinking, your body will follow it. And I was trying to think what's the last thing I could say, and I'd say, Jesus loves me, this I know. The Bible tells me so. Thank you.
Oana, my parents, Marcus and Rovik Oana, Louise. I am a college student at Delta. I'm majoring in nursing, and I'm up here to tell you things I am grateful for. So, a little bit about me. I am originally from the East Coast. I was born in New York. I was raised in Virginia until senior year of high school. I moved here the day after I graduated. So there's a lot of things that happened this year actually that I'm grateful for, and I wouldn't think, like, I took for granted during this year. But like reflecting on it now, I can say that I'm very grateful for the past 18 years that have been given to me. So my parents are extremely hardworking people. We grew up with not a lot, so to see where we have come now, it just shows me that you can really work, and if you're faithful to God, you can grow spiritually, and He'll bless you with many, many things. So I'm grateful to my parents for being faithful all the time, no matter how hard it is with their lives. They're always there. They're always praying to God. They're always giving. And that just shows me that they give me, how can I say it? They show me that as long as you can give, as long as you are faithful and you lean on God, anything is possible. So I thank them for that. I'm grateful that God has given me the ability has given me a lot of energy to go to work and go to school at the same time, and that I can balance the two, and I can still have enough. I can still make it here to church, and my parents are my like rock. So everything that they've taught me with God and religion, I'm grateful for them for that. Now that I think about it, like, because they have so much love for God, it shows, like, in, I guess, that love that they have for God also shows in me, and it makes me want to be like them, love God more and put my trust in Him more, and help me grow in my relationship with Him. Because sometimes I feel like I would sometimes slip away from God, but they bring me back to Him. They help me see that I can depend on Him for anything, whether it's school, whether it's work, whether it's my personal life. I can always depend on God. I'm grateful for my family. They're always there for me. My brother, even though he gives me a hard time, I still appreciate him. I still love him. I hope he grows up to be someone that, I hope he grows to, how do I say, oh my goodness. I hope he looks up to me as someone that he wants to be like. I'm thankful to God for many of the experiences I've had. I'm grateful for Him for helping me graduate, and I hope that He helps me in the future with whatever I'm doing. And because I have big dreams that I want to like achieve, but I know I can't do that all by myself. I know God will put me somewhere where I'll be able to help others and serve others just the way that He did. I'm thankful for this church family as well. I've only been here for a few months, but everyone is so welcoming, so kind, and I appreciate that. There's a lot of churches that we went to before in Virginia where it just didn't feel like a home, kind of. It was just like you meet people, but you didn't really have a close connection with them. With this church, it's welcoming, inviting, and I'm really grateful for that. Yeah, so I'm really, really grateful for my family, my parents especially, how we came about. Moving here to California, actually, it's a blessing in disguise. I wasn't really thrilled about moving here. I was going to leave my friends. I was leaving, everything I loved. And I guess it was a blessing in disguise because it gave me more opportunities. It helped me see that I can grow even more out here and meet different people, meet so many new faces, and just reach out of my boundaries. So I'm grateful for God giving my dad the opportunity to get a new job here and push us to come with him. So I'm really grateful for that. It opened new doors for me, and I'm extremely grateful. So yeah.